Jill here with Serious Talis Moon, and I did decide to release the last episode I recorded, which is basically on the onset of removal of diplomatic immunity to people involved in extortion cults, um, as the politicians and so on and so forth. Um, right as I do, and you can jab at me at the funny thing that happened with my mom every time I mention. You already understand the energy that brings my mom's interruptions, right? And um, but here is the thing: I was basically being served carrot juice, and I exploded at mom. Everything I said was right, but it was just not not the right context. Um, so Muhammad Karmi, the boots on ground force of the Iranians revolution. It's very weird to say the revolution forces of Iran because the revolution was in 1979. We're in 2026, and now there is a revolution against the revolution. So, um, now think about it. The revolution police. Okay, when was the revolution? Now, I know several people that were born in 1979. So, but it's. I don't want to say you're old, but let's just say it was a while ago. Hey, I'm 41. I was born in 84. Um, Iran is standing several. I said several. Iran is standing before a war, and here is they begin to elaborate on the frontiers. So financial, I don't know, like financial sounds funny because nobody actually depends on energy from Iran. Social, again, um, cultural. Now, it's as funny as that sounds. What is cultural, political, security, and cyber, if not? Okay, if Ali Khamenei is going down, now, why is Iran at war with the West on values? What does Iran want to show about the West when it comes to values? What is the entire looting of Iran's regime and putting the Shah there, which is like a monarchy? Um, they want, hey, I can say that as Dutch. Our king drives bicycles to work. It's and so did our former prime minister. It's true, but former. Um, no, 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 no. I do not have a jab about Big Schoof. Okay. Um, but this is basically. I meant the caretaker. So, um, okay. Basically, the way that the entire internet swap in Iran is, they prepared it in advance. They prepared it in 1979. This April Fool's Day is the foundation of Iran. Um, And a lot of people talking about turning Iran into Persia again. And of course, they're not missing the days of the Shah that came before the Iranian Revolution. Okay, the Shah was already too religious. People were already getting tortured for being not Islamic enough in schools. And then came Ali Khamenei. And so, um, but the entire thing is being manufactured so that Iran is represented as the human right violator, as the women right violator, as the women of Iran, identifying with the women of Iran. Okay? Those who haven't seen my Israel Epstein ring, okay, the Iran in Iran like places with the orthodoxy, okay, the human trafficking ring, the 52 houses, you want to watch that video. A lot of people in Israel are saying, oh, come on, Bnei Brak, Yalla Bnei Brak. Meaning the women in Bnei Brak, which are trafficked, okay? They wear something that is quite similar to the hijab. And they kidnap people and force them to wear that. The Jews that didn't stop the trafficking are going to find it very difficult to defend their Jewish costumes, and definitely they would not be able to say that their persecution is happening because women were not modest or the Jews were assimilating. Like I said, is Rabbi Nachman Me'oman on Epstein list? Um, okay, if you're Jewish and you don't know about those things, get informed, because the world is not being anti-Semitic, it's being anti-trafficking by people that were hurt, that were married to traffickers. Now, what does Iran want to show when it's being accused of violating women's rights? That the West is doing what? Worse things. Now, at best, it can become cultural wars that are going to take down Islam and the Orthodox Bnei Brak that traffics people. And again, I may have relatives in Bnei Brak. Okay, I'm talking about the traffickers. Hopefully not my relatives. Don't jab at my surname. Don't jab at my Dutch surname. It's too painful. um, in Amsterdam, Harlem is not Black Harlem. It's it's Youngbloods Harlem. I did not know. When I was homeless and I reached the country, there was a social worker that was presenting herself as though as though she's doing me a favor, giving me my rights, and she gave me an address of a shelter in Harlem, which is that Harlem. I missed the train, and I delved in Amsterdam, and the rest is. Um, the rest is water expands upon cooling, um, but basically she thought, well, Jungbloed. Would I be sacrificed to the Moloch there? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Now, at best, this could become, you know, A multi-orgasm of extortion cults exposed. But one thing for sure, if Ali Khamenei is going down, he ain't going down without leaving the West exposed. And he did not keep an A-bomb factory for rejuvenating cities. He has been rejuvenating our hospital. Everybody, they launched the Suta. It was Soroka Hospital, then they launched the Suta. Because they bombed one building, but no one was there. How come no one was? Never mind. Um, Too bad they didn't tell it to the living people that are no longer with us in Ramot, in Nevezev. Not in Jerusalem, in Beersheba. Um, that was a building that crashed with the family. The family was in the safety room. Like I said, rejuvenating cities. Um, some people laser, some people bomb. But it's probably not going down without everything that he has. Now, you say, well, does he have an A bomb? Um, that might happen if they drop an A bomb on Iran. Would you like a cup of nuclear water? It's going to be radioactive in Tel Aviv. It's the wind. The wind. Would they drop that bomb on Tel Aviv? I don't know. Got it, you know. You see, Aries, the planet of the margins, is next to my Mercury. It's not a, it's not pretty. From Holocaust jokes to Pearl Harbor jokes. Dan, love that yarrow. Um, so the A bomb is a question, but before A bomb will not present him with a legacy. The person that exposed the soft underbelly of the West trafficking cults to the point that no one in the West was able to expose, from death row to Epstein to the what they call the little devils involvement. That is the A bomb. That, yeah, Ali Khamenei is going down. Who extorted him to do the Ayatollah regime might be not going to the grave with him. Okay, let me take a look at this chart. Now, how will he deliver the message? Cyber. Do you really think that the people that do this for the money, so much so that they develop technologies that target the civilians of their own countries, of their own bloodlines, would really care not to do that for Iran? They're not driven by ideology. This is why I said I had the urgency to post the video I posted earlier, And normally I would re-record because of the mishap with my mom. But there I just posted it. Let's look at Ali Khamenei's chart again. Okay, his biggest weapon against Israel is not interesting here. Actually, the U.S. is, the West is. Israel is a small country from the West, but is not so interesting, such as the Western values in the face of Ali Khamenei's regime. Now, would it not touch on the Shah monarchy? Of course it would. This man's not going down without all of that. That's the A bomb. Now, transits. Pluto not too far from Israel's midheaven. Chiron in the 8th house of United States. Moon, Sol in Aries, Moon in Aries, Saturn in Aries, Saturn conjoining Chiron. Mercury 5 degrees Aries. World degree. He has Mercury's pictures, name lists, correspondences. Mars in Capricorn exalted to stand the test of time, preservation of. Saturn in the last decan of Aries. Those who kidnap, those who torture. Saturn is ring. Saturn Mars can be sex slavery ring. Mercury is children. Venus Jupiter opposing Neptune. Neptune in Virgo, leaking messages, leaking names, leaking pictures. Look at the Star of David. Look at the Star of David. I'm just looking at it. It's like, it's not a perfect Star of David, but it was funny. Venus 22 can be associated with beliefs around femicide. The femicide in the West. Jupiter is on the Sun of Netherlands 1800 chart. 25 degrees Pisces. Uranus and Taurus already been through his Uranus return. He has Ketu to Israel's Rahu. Rahu Ketu reversal with Israel and all the people that have Rahu in Taurus, particularly the middle decan of Taurus. Like I said, Saturn in Aries, Saturn-Mars combinations and Mars in Saturn sign, the reception between Saturn and Mars, the two malefic working together, a person that is very difficult to take down. Okay, think Hamas Saturn 22, they genocided the area, but Hamas is still there. according to the UN, genocide. Okay. um, the people will always people. I'm half Dutch, and there was a lady that moved to Netherlands, and when she had to present herself to people, it was actually a woman from Gaza that she befriended more, because people tend to people, but when it comes to regimes and extortion calls, it's a bit different. Same with people of Iran and so on and so forth. Now, um, so yeah, Rao Keter reversal with Israel. Rao is in the 12th house of United States. It's true. Chiron in the first house of Netherlands 1800 chart. The 8th house of USA, we said. Um, Romania, I don't think. Oh, Romania. Romania because of Israel. Yeah. Thailand because of Israel, but I think Romania is because of Israel because of what Israelis did there. So to put that man in a helpless situation, helpless is Neptune. Neptune is also leaking, and in that case, Neptune in Mars sign, first decan. So world class names, people that run the world names, um, that are in the structure of intelligence, military, royal military, royal armies, Sun Mars. Vulcan, don't expose yourselves. Let Kaminai do it. But the more this guy stressed to this helpless situation, yes, he's not gonna do the irrational move of dropping an A bomb when he can do way better, that is to show the West its soft underbelly on the values that Iran is being persecuted on, including the connections that created Iran. They're probably involved with similar extortion cults. Okay, extortion cults exploit their leaders, the leaders that they present as presenters, to undermine themselves in policy. I think anybody that would think about, a thought experiment, what would they do if they were in the place of Ali Khamenei, knowing about extortion cults and all these things, would be that is way more effective than to explode the entire world. See, China is serving humanitarian aid to Ali Khamenei. Now, when would be an onset? I don't know. It can be the Saturn Neptune, it can be many things. Um, the Genghis Khan eclipse has already been, so it could be an onset of that. That's the eclipse with Ketu around Al-Qaid at the end of the Virgo. Rejuvenating cities. Um, Now, the people that think that they got their hands on it and he wouldn't do it, and because of that would expose him and so on and so forth. That's not a move of a person who's going down. If he's going down, there's a reason that guy was not eliminated since 1979. Okay? They went to Iraq, they went to Syria, they went to Lebanon. Heck, they even went to Israel and Palestine. Israel and Palestine. But Iran, the amount of extortion needed to maintain that. Uh, that guy couldn't 9/11 and couldn't Pearl Harbor. He could the Pentagon.